Hey Zedders, Christian here from Doofy Racing. I've just got a quick video here. I had a Lower Racing reach out to me this morning, asked me a couple of questions about his horse that is doing really well in the free racing, has raced a heap, made some good money, but just doesn't seem to be performing on the paid racing front as well. And we were just trying to figure out together if it's a good idea to can paid racing, focus on free racing, or see if there's another strategy we could come up with that could turn around and actually get some profits out of the paid racing as well. So the horse we're going to be looking at is called Noble Suspect. You've probably seen this out there. I'd be surprised if you hadn't. It's had 525 races since the update. And what we're just going to unpack is essentially how much it's profited from free racing and its profit loss on the paid racing as well. Before we jump into it, I'm going to touch on a couple of things here that are quite important. So if you haven't already seen this video, jump over to my website, doofyracing.com, and check out the blog called Paid versus Free Racing and Maximizing Profits. What this goes into is essentially talking about free races versus paid races and what theory I guess I have in terms of a horse that will, if you're racing them in both the free and the paid races, will tend to look for that easier race to give it its win. So as we know, a racehorse isn't going to win every single race. Just forget about it. And if you're racing that horse in paid races and free races, I did notice for a few of my horses that I would enter them in both free and paid at the same time, and they'll be just winning free races, and then they just tend to lose all of the paid races. So this is just a theory that I'm building up at the moment, but it's quite important in this because what we've essentially come up with a plan for a lower is to just drop free races for a little bit and do some testing on the paid races for 20, 30 races, and see if we can change that horse's current racing pattern and see if we can start getting some more profits out of the paid races. So the horse here, as I said, Noble Suspect, 525 races. Of those races, it has raced in 372 races according to my data here in the free. And between 1,000 and 2,000 meters, it has an average odds of $8.85 across that range, which seems to be where it's winning. It hasn't really won anything beyond 2,200 meters, and it seems to really perform well over the 1,800 meters as well. But if we were to compare those same stats to the paid racing, it still gets decent odds. It's average across 1,000 to 1,800. It hasn't run any further than that. It has average odds of 12 to 1. So it should be winning more than its current percentage than what it's actually winning. And its total profit loss from paid races is actually negative 0.04 Ethereum, and its profit from free racing is 0.12723. So huge profit from free races. It's run a heap more in comparison. How many races has it run in paid? It's run a total of 44 free races. Paid races according to my data here. So yeah, you look at this and go, do I forget about the paid races, or do I focus on the free races? Is this horse just a free horse runner? It's a question that I constantly have been asking myself, but after going through some of the data and doing some calculations, I guess before we make that ultimate decision on whether it's going to be just a free race runner, or whether we can get some profit out of the paid races as well, we need to get a good bulk of data of 20, ideally up to 50 races of just paid races. You can't enter it in a free one because that could be that race that it wins. So at 12 to 1, it's going to win 1 in 12 races according, on average. It should do. Whether it's overperforming, underperforming at the time. So that's why you need to have those 50 races. Now, that's an investment in itself. You're really going to have a backing of Ethereum, and you're going to need to commit to that investment, because you may find that you can actually get some really, really good profit out of it versus running it in 400 races and making 0.12 ETH. Um, I've got a handful of horses that have run in 10 to 20 horses that have made the same amount of profit, and they haven't run in a single free race because their odds looked really good from the beginning. So again, it's an investment strategy. So if you're trying to figure out whether your horse currently is better off running at free races or if it's better running in paid races, a calculation is quite a simple one that you can run, is look at the winnings from the free races, the number of free races that horse has had. You need the winnings from your paid races, your entry fees from paid races, and the number of paid races. Now, what you want to do here is then run a calculation of, you need to find how often that horse has run as a percentage against free to paid races. So in this case, the 400 odd races divided by the 44 odd races that it's had. My data might be a little bit out here. And then you will essentially get, that's what, 1 in 8. So what you need to then do is work out its profit and loss. In this case, minus 0.04 Ethereum. And then you need to actually times that minus 0.04. Ideally, we're looking at a positive here. Like, there's no point in even doing this calculation if it's a negative. So let's just assume that it actually is plus 0.04. So what you want to do then is actually times that 0.04 Ethereum times 8. So now you're on a level playing field in how many paid races you've had and how many free races you've had. And then you're essentially just seeing which one's bigger. If you've got more profit out of your free races over those 400 races, by all means, then you just keep it in free races. If you've got more profit in paid races, then that's a really good opportunity to drop free races altogether and keep it just running in those paid races and trying to maximize your profits that way. Now, obviously, this is just a theory. This isn't how the game necessarily works. This is just me looking at what has happened across my 180 odd horses that I've been running, and seeing patterns along the way. It's going to be an investment, and it may not work every single time. So just keep that in mind when you're making a decision of what you need to do. But just wanted to share my thoughts on what you can do, and how you can actually sort of read into the data a little bit more, just to get that little bit extra out of your horse and make sure you're maximizing your profits along the way. So see you out in the racetrack, guys. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any questions, obviously, please reach out. Give me a shout. Otherwise, if you've got some theories on this as well, drop them in the Discord chat, in the general chat, and we can open up a discussion, because I think this will be really beneficial for most players to get out there and actually understand how to get the most out of their horses. So cheers, guys. See you out there.